Hi guys. Hello. Good evening. Gonna give it a few minutes, but I'm really looking forward to tonight's author talk with Billie Topa Tate, who is the author of Spirit Guide Invocations. I see she joined, so she's gonna send a request to join the live. Hi everybody. So glad you're all here joining us. It's lovely. So Billie, you're going to just request to join. So glad you're all here joining tonight. It's going to be a really good talk about this exciting new book. So Billie, you can just press the button and request to join, and then I'll add you to join our discussion. Let's see if I can do it from this end. Here you go. Joined. I see a bunch of our customers have joined. Awesome. Hi, Billie.
Well, hello, welcome, and it's so nice to see you, Danielle.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
A pleasure and an honor for me, and I loved my wonderful hat.
This your beanie?
Yeah,
and your apothecary beanie.
Yeah, and I was wearing it, and people were looking at it, and writing down the website and everything, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I was very thoughtful. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I know how cold it gets in Chicago.
So. It does get a little cold here.
Absolutely. Today in New York, we had a beautiful spring day, and now it's actually raining outside. So
yeah, well, at least we know who's in charge, right?
That's right. That's right. I like a mild winter, so I'm not opposed to it.
I know.
I'd be happy if it just the snow stays gone, but we'll see.
Well, we'll ask for the weather angels to give us this wonderful, sunny, warm weather and let it stay for as long as it can. So thank you.
That's right. Well, I'm so glad you're here. For everybody that is on the live and watching the replay of the live, Billie Topa Tate is my guest tonight. This is her beautiful new book called Spirit Guide Invocations. I've really been enjoying reading this. For the sake of introductions, we can talk about a little bit of your experience. I can talk about your bio, but you're here, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into the book?
Thank you so very much, Danielle. Well, my name is Billie Topa Tate, and Topa Tate means four winds. In Apache, my name is Wazayata. Wazayata means wind that sings. And my elders gave me that name because they said I was going to use my words to inspire people, to assist people in their work. Everyone has their life's purpose, and mine was to share the wisdom that I was given in such a wonderful and blessed way. And I am the founder of MSI Wellness Center, which is in Evanston, Illinois. And we teach Indigenous wellness to medical doctors, hospitals, massage therapists, energy workers. And this is our goal is to create a sacred space one person at a time. And through sharing Indigenous wisdom and how Apache people keep their wellness and their good health, body, mind, and spirit. And in the book, I really wanted to share a lot of my training as an Apache medicine woman. And I wanted to make sure that I covered one aspect of my work that everyone can utilize in their life's journey. So that was my one of my roles in the training is when I was 11 years old. My mother handed me over to my teachers. And when you're 11 years old, you just want to go and have fun with all the other kids. But I soon really saw the gift that I was given by my teachers who were so wise and also had a tremendous knowledge about how the universe works. And I was very, very honored and knew, even at that time, that all the information I was provided, all the experiences I would experience, were for not just me, but for other people. And of course, to create a sacred space, one person at a time, which was our goal.
I love it. I think it's so beautiful. And you're right. What a gift to learn directly from your elders as your teachers and to carry that on, the traditions that have been used for generations and centuries and, infinity, really.
And
So I think,
these, yeah, these wisdoms are incredibly wise and timeless. You know, how they teach about the gift of time and what is its use and its purpose as a mystic, and as a, as a person just on a daily basis, but also that words carry energy. They are energy carriers, and they can carry medicine that can heal anything, but also it can be used, for, yeah, yeah, anything that we would like to move in a forward way. Lots of times people don't realize that the energy that words carry can use light or can use a constrictive energy. But it's wonderful because in the book, I talk about the language of the elders, and they used what is called enlightened language when they spoke to their spirit guides and their teachers in spirit. And I was so honored to observe all of that. And I was very moved by all of those experiences.
yeah, I definitely wrote that down as one of the things that I wanted to dive more into. It's so funny how these things have a way of universal coincidences, or not coincidences, synchronicities, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm also a Reiki master. And I agree so much with all the things that you've been saying about how um, there's enlightened words and that words do carry intention and meaning. And during part of my Reiki training, we studied the practices of Dr. Emoto, which we conducted water tests where, as you speak lovingly to the water, it changes the molecular structure of the water. And then we actually did two jars. One was with rice. They were both rice in jars, in mason jars, and you speak lovingly towards one and hateful towards the other, which is quite hard to do.
I know, yes.
And you can see how the one that you speak lovingly with took on this golden hue and it maintained its integrity and structure. And then the one that was being spoken to very badly and neglected and hateful had created an environment of decay, and it was gray and
Mm-hmm.
decomposing, and just it's miraculous. So I totally
Right.
agree. And something I read in your book, I think you said words create worlds.
That's correct. It does.
I thought that was
We
beautiful.
Well, and it is true, and I take 2% of the credit for that statement. That was one of my elders who said that. And when he said that, pictures came into my mind of people that, and he said, people create their own personal, for the lack of words, ashrams, their own sacred spaces, whether it be a prison or, or business or whatever it is, through our expectation of what we think about so much, and it could be expansive or it could be constrictive. But our role as human beings is really to become aware that we are conduits of energy, and that we can bring energy through us to manifest whatever we would want to see in the world. And what is our world, and how to define that world for ourselves. So as we evolve, we share that light with others, and then they get the aha, and they think, oh my goodness, I can change my world. And it's really powerful. And what you said about the waters, very true, that when you're projecting that energy and that focused intention, it can bring light, or it can, you know, disable and dismantle energy. And so you can think about how the physical body responds to that energy,
Yeah.
you know, so it's wonderful.
Your word is your wand, and
Mm-hmm.
you are casting spells as you express and you emote and you set intention. So that's a perfect segue into invocations. Can you talk to our readers about what is an invocation? And this book speaks of invocations and also enlisting the help of your spirit guides and deceased loved ones and the team on the other side that we can't see. So let's hear your perspective on what inspired you and what this book is about.
Well, Danielle, it's really wonderful because our teachers talk to us about energetic resources. Our energetic resources, our spirit guides, our helpers, our teachers in spirit, holy medicine people, we all have them. We all have them. And depending upon our projects and our life's purpose and what we are wanting to do in the world, we have an endless amount of them that can assist us in our projects, our expressed desires for the world, which taps into what my teachers call the law of economy. And when we use our focused intentions and our energy for something higher than ourselves, that the universe provides a tremendous amount of energy flow to allow for that to happen. And which takes me to the next principle, which is the law of entitlement, that we are entitled to be able to bring this energy into the earth, into the land, into our situations, past, present, or future, for the transformation to be a higher vibration. And what we were taught by our elders, who were taught by um, these luminaries that were given to us because we were wanting very much to be of service to the Creator. And the Apache people, our name in the Apache tradition is Nede. Nede means earth people, people of the earth. And that's what the Creator called us and asked us if we would like to be stewards of the land. And we, of course, said, yes, we would love to do that. So these luminaries taught our elders the philosophies and principles of the universe, and gave us the training and told us about ceremony. And they told us that that ceremony was a way of adjusting the energy around us to lift the veil and be able to connect with our spirit helpers or teachers in a very direct way. And so that's why ceremonies are so important to us,
Right.
because we know that that is very valuable. But during those trainings, what they taught us is there are particular words that you can use to lift that veil and to enlist your energetic resources on a daily basis to assist in whatever it is that you need assistance for. And it could be, you know, maybe that your boss doesn't understand you, or you're in a difficult situation with a relationship, or you have an illness, or you have someone who has passed over that you cared about. Anything and everything is energy first. And they taught us that a string of words that contain medicine would enlist our spirit guides. And my teacher told me that the reason why they cross the span of time and space to help us is because the Creator has a principle that is placed in all people and our spirit helpers, that assistance is not just for healing, but it is also for evolution. So they cross the span of time and space to help us with situations so we can observe a resolution that we may not have even contemplated possible. And through that process, we evolve. We start to open up and remember that we do have this great power within us, and that they can show us how to use that energy for anything that is part of their evolution and healing. So I have learned so much from observing all of the spirit helpers and the angels. I've worked with about 155,000 angels, and they all have specific tasks. You know, it's very much like us. You know, we can do anything, but we tend to gravitate to particular things that we really enjoy, and we become better. And, you know, as my teachers would say, practice is the mother of all skills. And as we progress, we start to learn and evolve, and also share that light that we start to become during this process of invocation. So invocations are a way of reaching out to our helpers, and we all have them. You know, I couldn't do the work I do without them. Yeah. And, you know, when I first started my practice, I took 10% of the credit for what I did. But I've been doing this for a very, very long time. And now I tell people I take 2% of the credit for what I do, because I have seen so much, and I've been in awe of the wisdom that is just given so that we can see that these things are possible. Yeah. And so invocations are really a string of mystical words that really open those windows so that our wonderful helpers can help us and give us knowledge, insight, the power to heal, the power to interact with the other kingdoms on this planet, like the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom and the crystal kingdom and the water kingdom. We are in a combination of kingdoms, and we're learning very much how to honor and respect them, and what we call Doyoshbaye. Doyoshbaye means extended family members, and that's who they are. They are extended family members.
I love that, especially my kitty cats. They're definitely my family members. I think, you know, animals have just such a special place in particular. But I think that's beautiful. And one of the things that you talk about that I think is an important point to make is that you write how humans are here for a learning experience.
Yes.
And that our spirit guides and angels their role is to help us grow and evolve and to learn and to be a resource during our experience here.
Right. And also through that process, we enjoy this beautiful place called Mother Earth, because we start to realize the capabilities that we have. You know, I'm sure you've heard this particular statement where, you know, dogs have puppies, cats have kittens, and God has godlets. That's us. You know, that's who we are. And we're starting to connect with that. And that's one of the driving forces of this book. Because when I mentor people in my practice, I hear them say, you know, I am benefiting from this beautiful training, and I wish I could give that out to other people. And so what my driving goal is to give our helpers another avenue by which they can reach out and help more people in the world to create a sacred space, one person at a time. And so in the book are the teachings, the training I experienced personally, and also the actual techniques of transforming a situation that is stressful into a learning experience, and it's resolved in such a great way.
I think it's beautiful how you did that. The first half of the book, you talk about the practice of it, the how-to, what goes into to it and the why and the players involved. And then you provide a wide variety of invocations in part two, ranging from boundaries and protection to creating a peaceful environment in your community
Mhm.
to communicating with past loved ones.
That's
Um,
correct.
and not only do you learn firsthand through the invocations that you've provided, but I think more importantly, you're teaching people how to create invocations in their own life.
That's so correct. Yes,
What a
absolutely.
powerful gift. Yeah. So is that your core inspiration for creating this?
Yes, my inspiration was that when I was 11 years old, I knew that this wasn't just for me, and and I just wanted to, because so many people, even when I was growing up, I wrote about my dear friend who had, hauntings in her house, and she didn't know how, or family didn't know how to deal with that. But coming from the native tradition, we know there's energy portals and there's good spirits. We call them lesser lights, the bad spirits. Some people call them entities, but we call them lesser lights because our spirit guides tell us that's what they say. They say the lesser lights would love for you to argue with your sister. The lesser lights would love for you. And I thought, oh, they're called lesser lights. So I did tell her we can write an invocation and close the energy portal and have the angels come and pick all the entities up because they need to evolve. They need medicine to evolve.
Mm.
And so that was at a very, very young age. And that dear friend that had that house, she's still around, and she really loves the book. She said, I'm so glad you wrote the book because it's got so much good information. And it
Yeah.
was just released, I think January the 4th. And we have been receiving so many phone calls from people who said, I did the bully invocation and it worked. And I did that. I had nightmares and I did the invocation and wow, that worked. And so it was really great. And some people ask me, okay, so what is dream time anyway? And I said, well, the creator gave us that dream time to resolve things. So our consciousness would go into more subtle planes of existence, and our physical body would go into maintenance and repair, and we would resolve things. We could go into our past lives and resolve them, or we can fix something that is transpiring at this moment at work. So
Yeah.
even Einstein had to close his eyes and go to sleep and access that part to understand and integrate and complete the formula of the speed of light, which is he talks about that in his lectures, that when he wants that extra piece, he goes into that state of going to sleep to access that part of the consciousness, and we all have that.
Yep. And there's still so much that we don't even understand
Mm-hmm.
about the workings of our brain. But I agree with the dream state and the sleep state, how important it is and restorative it is, and that integration, because we learn the lessons, but while we're at rest, our entire body heals and we process and we integrate.
Right, absolutely. Well, we say that sleep is like medicine. It's so important for the body, mind, and
Yeah.
spirit. And our consciousness, our spirit, goes with our spirit guides at night to resolve things, whatever those resolutions are. But we also work with the thunder beings, the weather, and everything. And I wanted to write about that in the book, but I had to get it, to the publisher.
I want to hear more
But
about that. That
oh
sounds
well,
cool.
it was really interesting because we do sweat lodges. So, and my dear friend Adam Yellowbird, he calls me up and he goes, "Oh, they're not going to let us, do the sweat lodge because it's so hot in Arizona. They're zoning no fires. You've got to come here and you've got to invoke for the rain." And I said, oh, okay, so I'll get on the plane and do that. So I get on the plane, I get there, and I asked for one of my elders, to come with me, and her name is Blue Star. So we're climbing up the mountains, and we have our drums, and we get to the top, and we start to sing the songs, and all of a sudden it started hailing, and I turned to her, and I said, Blue Star, did you do the rain song, or did you do the hail song? And she goes, well, I was following you. So, and I said, oh, I might have been doing the hail song. So it started hailing really bad. And so we know that hail is a purging and cleansing. So we're climbing down the mountain, and the hail is melting, and it's creating these big rivers that are just coming off the mountain, and that's kind of dangerous because it creates rivers and you can't get out of the canyons. So we're running down the canyons, and she's looking at me, and she goes, maybe we should have done the rain song instead of the hail song. So I'm running to the car with her, and we get in the car, and I get on the plane, and Adam Yellowbird calls me, and he goes, can you turn off the rain, please? We're having floods here. And I go, oh, I thought it was okay just the way it was. But, I said, I will ask for the thunder beings to, move their rain to the places that are dry and need water. And so he was very happy that we were able to come back and do the sweat lodge for our elders, which was very nice. So you can work with, and I do it when I go to Arizona. I always bring people that would like to experience some of the ceremonies, and I always ask for the weather angels to help me, so it can be in a good place for the people and that they could be comfortable. As for me, I come from the desert, and it could be 150 degrees and it wouldn't bother me at all, but I can understand why people are uncomfortable. They're not used to it.
I was just in Sedona, and there was actually a hailstorm while I was there. So I think it's magical.
It is.
But I can understand why they're like, that's enough now.
Yes,
But
right.
I definitely would love to experience that. So I'm going to have to come and pay you a visit.
Yeah, it's wonderful. We have songs for the rain. We have songs that, well, the training we have received is we're trained that our drums are energy tools. They're structured for the traditional songs of ceremony to adjust the energy around us, so that we can ask for help and everything. And it's just very, very powerful and very wonderful.
That's beautiful. One of the practices, well, a few of the practices that you talk about is utilizing the 7 invisible breaths, followed by the start over ceremony. Is that something that you want to talk through with our readers, or do you prefer that they read it in the book? So.
What I'd like to say is that the start over ceremony is because we believe that the star nations came and provided us with insights. And so the start over ceremony is done at particular times, but specifically when the Mercury retrograde is occurring. We believe that as a spirit, before we reincarnate, we have designated and selected particular things from the book of life, the big tank of all our lifetimes, and we extract those and we striate them into our journey, and then we come into this world and we're born. So the start over ceremony usually is at the first Mercury retrograde of the year. This is when we know that that the universe is going to show us what we're going to be working on that year. Not all of it's not specific just to that, but it tells us a lot about what we picked to work on for the year. And the start over ceremony is a medicine wheel, and what we do is we sing songs and we tell the creator, this is what has been happening at this moment during the Mercury retrograde, and this is what I did, this is what I learned, this is what I would do different. Is there anything else? And we continue the songs, and our helpers talk to us about, yes, you did some good things, but you might want to add this or this to the resolution of what's happening now. So the start over ceremony really shares with us that we can start again and resolve it in a deeper way by receiving some insight from our guides through the start over ceremony. But the way I wrote it in the book is I said, you can take that start over ceremony and you can use it on a daily basis, you know, so that you can refresh yourself, gain insights from your guides. And people often ask me, you know, how can you hear your guides? You know, how do you know they're there?
Yeah.
You know, how can I encourage that type of interaction? And to that, I would say, you know, when you wake up in the morning, we do a sunrise ceremony. We thank the creator for the day, but we invoke for and summon our helpers to be with us during the day. And I would encourage people when they first wake up is to invoke for them to be a participant of the day with you, and to give you insight, to give you help, to allow for lots of wisdom to occur. And so when you succor unto them, they succor unto you. So, and what happens is you have a deeper rapport because you're generating that connection with them. And when they do help you, it doesn't matter whether it's finding parking or your keys or giving you $125,000. It doesn't matter. You want to say thank you, and you want to encourage that friendship. And it's like all friendships. If you want your friend to deepen their relationship, engaging and being filled with gratitude about the relationship deepens the relationship. Yeah. So they first start out by giving us a knowing or a thought. As soon as they do that, you want to say thank you. I would love to hear you. I'd love to hear what you have to say to me. And eventually you will start hearing them. And it's a wonderful experience when that happens. And seeing them is good. They usually come in light, you know, like columns of light or spheres of light. And when I do my invocations at night, when I'm reading, I see them, you know, they're all brilliant and bright, looking and saying, yes, I would be very happy to do that for you. I would be very happy to help you. And it's just a beautiful experience to do. So I highly recommend it for everyone, so people can really see that they have wonderful helpers that can help them.
I love that. And I also love how you stress the importance of actively participating in the invocation and with your guides and establishing that relationship. It's not just you say the invocation once and you leave it. It becomes like a mantra. You have to repeat it and continue to say it and petition your intentions until it comes to fruition. And sometimes that needs to be adjusted. And then that grace and gratitude for the blessings that you're receiving.
Oh, absolutely. The universe will fulfill an intention when you vivify it. Because if you don't vivify it, the universe says, well, you're not really that interested in that manifestation, so I'm going to let it go. So our focused intention, our hearts being participants of that intention, and speaking it with what we call the va, or the words, is very powerful, very, very powerful. Yeah. And when we do that, they're going to pay attention, they're going to participate, and you will learn so much about how they can really provide wisdom resolution energy and everything. It's just I love all my guides. They're just really great. And when my clients come and I see them with their guides, I smile and I want them to get connected, to hear them so that they can be happy that they're being supported by very powerful energies.
That's beautiful. What are some tips that you can teach our readers who are brand new to this and brand new to working with their spirit guides?
Well, okay, so as a medicine woman, there are various different types of developments of our faculties, but one that can be pretty much across the board, anyone, is to use invocations to learn things that they do not have within them at that moment. I'll give you an example. You know, medicine women, what they do, they were the guiders of the tribe. They would look into the energy world and find places that were safe, or find places that had water and food. They would use invocations to look into the future and to develop skills to be seers of the energy world. You and anybody else can do that also, because we can express a desire for it. So the medicine woman was expected to contribute their insights that were predispositional factors that were in the energy world. And I wrote in the book that, or maybe I didn't write this in the book, but I will repeat it, that the way that we enhanced our ability to see farther into a region was to place a small, wonderful crystal that we have found and cleaned and, you know, worked with on our forehead. And we would put the bandana around. And people often saw us with the bandanas thinking that we were just wiping our brows. But no, we had a crystal here to activate this particular portal to go into the center of the consciousness, to be able to project an intention, to see the future, to see where we were going, and all of that. Now, when you do that, you don't have to do it often. You just have to do it once or twice, and then what happens is your sight starts to develop even more because you're utilizing it. Now you want to utilize it every day, whether it's as simple as, you know, thinking about what's going to happen at work today, or, you know, if you lost keys, or, you know, you have to use it. Now, when you're starting to want to develop it even more, you use your inner sight for an intention that helps something bigger than ourselves. You know, so and that's what happened with the medicine woman. She would want to save the tribe, or guide the tribe to a place that would be filled with water and food and everything. And so she was locking into a higher purpose, and because of that, the sight got even stronger and never really goes away. So these are things that people can do if they use their abilities to assist someone or something, that it would develop even more. So and of course, using the invocations in the book to, in the medicine woman section, to learn skills that are not present in the aura. And you're depositing it into the aura and utilizing it more by invoking for it. So, and invoking is really important. I asked my grandfather, I said, "Grandfather, how can I do the things that you do?" And he said, by first and foremost invoking for it. Ask the universe for it, and then you begin your journey.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's great. Um, wow, I have so many questions. Before we move on, somebody that's watching expressed great interest in the songs. Do you have any of your songs incorporated here, or is this
Well,
mostly the written word, or would you sing these invocations?
well, actually, that's really a good question. Would I sing the invocations? You know, it's if you do that, you would capture the heart of your spirit guides. They love native songs. They enjoy the movement of the energy in between the words. I'd be happy to sing a song when we're close to the end, so that you can, so anyone that wants to record it can do that, and it would be a blessing song that they can, take out to practice it and utilize it in their meditation practice, or whenever they want to get connected to their guides. I would be very happy to do that.
I love that because we will be saving this to our feeds, so that would be great for people to be able to watch it again. It's so funny because I said I don't think there's coincidences. My father was a singer, and one of his signature songs that everybody identifies him with, that just touches my heart, and really represents him, it's called "The Wind Mariah," and it's all about, just the communication and the singing and the joy, and like, it's just things coming full circle because he passed this year. He passed
Oh,
away this year. Thank you. And I was reading, of course, the invocation for those who have passed before us. So I
mhm.
plan to utilize those
Oh,
invocations. To,
and they're wonderful. My father, Papa Little Wolf, passed away on Saturday,
oh,
and it was,
sorry.
yes, I'm going to miss him physically, but in the native tradition, you know, um, my mother called me in the morning and said, you need to come because your papa is going to be leaving today. He's going to transition. So I heard his voice say, take your time. I'm going to wait for you. And because I'm the eldest uh, daughter, and my mother, who retired as a medicine woman, handed me over all the traditions of the passing of a spirit. So I would, you know, do the prayers for him and everything. So when I got there, um, and I was holding his hand, and I asked him to that he was released from the bondage of anything here, and the if there was anything that he regretted that he did, I release you from the bondage of that, and forgiveness is in its place. And so you go continue. And then when I got finished, he because he was unconscious at that point, he opened his eyes and looked at me and gave me a wink, and then he left. And
Wow.
I thought, what a beautiful spirit he is.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then the next day he was in my dream time, like, he was learning from beautiful spirits, but he said, you can always depend on me to help you. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so good. That's wonderful. So the invocations for a passing is very powerful, and really helps you to know that when they pass over, um, these still they're still there,
Yeah.
um, but they're learning so much, and can come back to help you, and they do. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely experiencing that. And I had a similar experience with my dad. He wanted to come from Florida up to New York, and we made that happen. And he was surrounded by family and similar circumstances. With his eyes, he was so communicative with his eyes, even though he became nonverbal. But just that beautiful transition and the peace that came with it, and the love that just transcends. It's very beautiful. So while I'm very sorry for your loss, you know that you
thank you.
carry him here.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for including that part in your book. I think it's gorgeous. I look forward to revisiting it.
Thank you. Thank you.
What are some other favorite parts of your book? There's a lot in here, and
Yeah.
there's glimmers of insight in every invocation. So it's not just like, here's an invocation. There's a lot that goes into it.
Oh,
So
most definitely. But you know, I talk about my grandfather, and he had great sense of humor, but he was so wise. And you know, I included grandfather's wisdom words into my book because you know he shared so much, and of course the medicine woman, and how she was you know the strong center stone in the medicine wheel that generates the power and guides the energy of the family and everything else. And one of the reasons why I placed a lot of information about the medicine woman is because it is my express desire for the medicine woman in the women that are out there in the world to come forward and to become the leaders. Because if we had medicine women in the leadership platforms, this would be a very different world because our decisions would be decisions that would encompass the goodness uh, of the people, and the driving force would be evolution. My my little nephew, who's in training now, he said, which I so true. He said, weapons are an antiquated system. And I said, well, what would you replace that with? And he said, education. Education is the most powerful weapon that we have, that we could learn and evolve and understand that we can transform things. And that is where we need to focus. And I thought, here's this 10-year-old that, you know, is learning that that we have the power to change things, and that's why I feel the medicine woman in all encompasses of culture, all the cultures, um, is going to be more present in the future. She carries strength, power, wisdom, and endless amounts of tools, and that's what we need. You know, that's that we need that. But also, we all get a little dusty from the trail, so to speak. You know, our energy field gets, you know, a little dusty.
yeah.
And so, what I put into the book was, you know, how to clean the energy field. And the energy field is a energy tool. It is got a lot of wonderful things in it, but it is definitely an energy tool that we can use for ourselves and also projections out to the world as well. But there's a chapter in the book called The Bathing of Light. And so there are various ceremonies that we use to bathe ourselves in light, especially in the first part of the year. So we want to cleanse ourselves of what transpired in the past and allow for that light to guide us for the coming year, the year that is the new year. But you can use the invocation to bathe yourself in light throughout your sleep, which I love. But I also project it to my loved ones. I bathe them in light, and I wrap them in a beautiful a blanket of light, so that they can sleep in safety, peace, and all of that. So that's in the book. But I also talked about inviting new, beautiful relationships in our life. There's definitely a science to that. There is an energetic science because a lot of people think that, you know, good relationships happen to other people and not to ourselves. And definitely we can learn how to create an environment in our energy field and also invoke for the angels of virtuous relationships to come to us and to find the people that will bring out the best in us, and also that we bring out the best in them. I talk about spirit guides and, you know, and angels and why they come to help us. You know, I tried my best to really fill the book with a lot of insights that will help people to be inspired to have strength and power and support.
These are such valuable tools.
Mm-hmm.
And attainable to everybody
That's,
by
yeah, that's true.
by reading and then putting these simple principles into practice. And
Right. Definitely.
I totally agree with what you said about the medicine woman. This world would be such a different place, a different environment, tapping into that divine feminine energy of nurturance and community and collaboration. And it's just an entirely different approach. So I think there's enormous amounts of wisdom in this book. Um, I welcome everybody watching. If there's any questions, you can write a question. The support has been overwhelming. I don't know if you can see the comments that have been coming in, but people love your book and they're so supportive and they say thank you so much. And then others are expressing great enthusiasm. So we have tons of copies, and actually we have the book plates. If I'm not mistaken, you did sign book plates for us.
Yes, yes,
Those are
yes.
already inserted into the books.
Mm-hmm.
So they are signed copies. Thank you. And then if you ever want to come to New York, we welcome you with open arms and we can conduct a workshop with you.
Oh, how wonderful.
That would
Yes,
be amazing.
yes.
Yeah,
I would
so
love to do that. I'll talk to Monique Littledell and see if she can, kind of think about how we can do
sure.
that. And that would be wonderful. That would be really great. I'd love that.
Absolutely.
But there was a question about, well, there was one woman who mentioned that she did the invocation to clear out the neighborhood of violence and things. And she said on the third
Yeah.
day that when she stepped out of her house, she said it was remarkable. The streets were clean, and she saw this woman picking up garbage and debris and throwing it in the trash. She goes, Billie, it was just wonderful. And what I did is I made a copy, I hope you don't mind, of the invocation. I gave it to all my neighbors, and we have had peace in our neighborhood. And I was so happy for her
That's
because it
beautiful.
does it does work.
Yeah, that
Mm.
is beautiful. So we have some comments here. I will be buying a signed copy this week. Thank you for explaining your book. I'm excited to read it. And then
Thank you.
Julie Gonzalez says, I'm definitely going to get this book. I'm excited to read it. I do have a question. Are there any invocations or incantations to get in touch with animals?
Oh, definitely. Animals use these beautiful energy portals to come to their homes and spend time with their loved ones. And they are, well, I'm sure you know, they're physical angels, unconditional love. That's one of the things they show
Yeah.
us. They demonstrate that. And they speak what is called a universal language.
Hmm.
All animals speak a universal language with us. And when we start to realize that we can speak this universal language with them, we develop a much more profound rapport with them. And the universal language that all sentient beings use is the language of energy.
Hmm.
So, when you're walking towards a barn and, you see that there's horses there, you can have a sign that says, I graduated from the best horse college and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
and get on the horse and he'd throw you off. But, you can walk in there and the horse feels your energy and you speak to this horse with that energy. Um, that's what everybody picks up first
Right.
is your energy, and that's the universal language between all sentient beings, whether it be a tree or a plant. And you asked me a wonderful question: is there an invocation for to connect with animals? You can write your own invocation,
Mm.
but the first thing that you want to do is you want to do the salutation, which is by the power of my good merits.
Mm.
And that's how the universe says, I must pay attention. This person is wanting to speak and also want to listen. So, and you ask for your wonderful guides and helpers to create a energy bridge between you and your beautiful companion animal,
Mm.
for the purpose of sending blessings to that beautiful animal, and that wonderful animal can show you that he or she is safe and loved. You know, you can send energy across the bridge, like safety, peace, light, love, when you do your invocation. And you're welcome to send me a draft of your invocation, which I can enhance or fine tune for you, and you can do that through my website.
That's great. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. It's wonderful. So we have a few more minutes. I would love to, oh, hold on a minute. Sorry. I would love to take you up on your offer of, singing that.
Oh yes,
That
yes.
would be so beautiful if you don't mind,
Yes.
and then we can close it out. And I'm really enjoying this. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, my drum is right
Beautiful.
there, but I'm just going, because drums make a very loud sound, so I'm gonna just ask for the medicine of the drum to be with me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a thank you song to the Creator, and I'm gonna ask for that song to fill everyone that sings that song or is in the presence of that song to be with their spirit guides for healing and wellness. So if you can close your eyes for just a moment and just take a nice deep breath in through your nose and take that breath into the sacred house of breath, which is your lungs. And as you exhale, just release that breath, and one more time, just breathing in and exhale, and just focusing on going inward. So I'll start the song. The Kashila Lila Maya Yela The Kashila Lila Maya Yelo Lila Maya Yelo Lila Maya Yelo Hai Wechozaniwa Maya Gucha Bila Maya Yellow Hai Bila Maya Yellow Bila Maya Yellow Bila Maya Yellow Hai The Kashila Bila Maya Yellow Bila Maya Yellow Bila Maya Yellow Hai Wechozaniwa Maya Gucha Bila Maya Yellow Hai Bila Maya Yellow Bila Maya Yellow Bila Maya Yellow Hai Hey yo hey Hey yo hey Hey yo hey Hey yo hey Hey yo hey. So take a nice deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. And I want to thank all of you for spending this wonderful time with me. It's a pleasure and an honor to know you.
I really enjoyed this so much. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Danielle, so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely. Stay in touch. And for all of you watching, be sure to get this book. You will absolutely love it. We sell it at the shop, and we are happy to help with any requests or any way that we can. So thank you. What a blessing you are.
Thank you so much. And in the Apache tradition, we say thank you and we see you again. Dagote.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.